Hello everybody, and welcome back to Engineer's Assets, a series on my channel where I go over each and every one of the Engineer's unlocks and show you how to properly utilize and enjoy using them. Today, we're going to be covering the Widowmaker, the arguably most powerful shotgun in Engineer's arsenal. To prove that claim, here are the Widowmaker's stats. The Widowmaker does not have a clip or a reserve of ammo. Instead of firing off bullets, the Widowmaker will subtract 30 metal from your supply each time you shoot the gun, making your gun's ammo supply actually your metal supply. This means the gun never has to reload, and you're able to fire it endlessly as long as you're hitting people while you do it. Because the amount of damage you deal to someone is the amount of metal that is returned to your supply each time you fire. The Widowmaker also deals 10% increased damage to anything your sentry gun is currently locked onto, but that doesn't really come into play too much when using it. Though, it's still a neat thing to know about the Widowmaker. The shotgun does have one glaring issue though. It's a shotgun. Being your primary source of damage besides from your sentry, the Widowmaker being a shotgun is a big issue for distance fights with it, as you spend 30 metal and only gain back the amount of damage you deal, which at long range isn't much at all. You'll be doing like 3 damage at long range. This would obviously be fine if it fired bullets, but paired with the fact that the Widowmaker instead fires metal, you find yourself wasting a ton of metal on opponents who are retreating from you. Considering the Widowmaker is your primary and best source of self-defense as a roaming engineer, losing enough metal to not be able to fire the gun anymore due to being too far away from your enemies can and will prove fatal to you whenever those enemies decide to haul ass over to your own ass. So, what does this mean? The Widowmaker is a terrible gun? No, not really. You just gotta know what to do when you're using it. First off, I'd recommend you exclusively pair the pistol with the Widowmaker at all times. The pistol is a great way to deal damage to players out of range of your shotgun, and also a reliable damage source to whip out if your Widowmaker has ran out of metal. Also, you'll honestly just want to steer clear of any other engineer secondary other than the pistol when using the Widowmaker, as the Wrangler can't do any damage without a sentry gun nearby, which there typically will be no sentry around you since you use metal for the Widowmaker, and the short circuit also uses up metal, which, trust me, you'll want the metal for your Widowmaker and not a terrible low DPS secondary. Next up, after you know what secondary to pair with the Widowmaker, which is the pistol, know what wrench to pair with it. I'd recommend you don't use the stock wrench, Southern Hospitality, or the Jag, as classic sentries are pretty expensive and not very viable when your primary also needs metal to do anything. On the other hand, the Gunslinger and Eureka Effect are both in their own situations very good options to pair with the Widowmaker. Let's start with the Gunslinger. Adding an additional 25 health to the engineer and letting him place 100 metal mini sentries around the map, Gunslinger works in tandem with the Widowmaker in a number of ways, making the engineer more tanky so he can afford to get aggressive with the aggressive gun, and pick fights with bigger targets while also being able to spend less metal to place down sentries. So, that makes the Gunslinger a solid choice for players who like to run in on enemies and grab some kills that way. On the other hand, there's the Eureka Effect, a wrench that allows you to instantly teleport to a spawn room or pre-built exit teleporter. This has a very specific use case, but a damn good one. You can hide your exit teleporter in a bush or a prop on some kind of payload map. Some good ones for this are Swiftwater, Borneo, Upward, and Badwater. After you hide your teleporter, let the enemies advance enough where your teleporter is behind the front lines. Use the Eureka Effect to instantly teleport to your exit, and therefore behind enemy lines, and have a grand time shooting unsuspecting enemies from behind. After you know what secondary and melee you want to pair with the Widowmaker, now it's the choice between wanting to play engineer how Valve intended, which is to use your metal supply to help teammates protect objectives and play the support role, or you can just say screw you to your team and play as an infinite killing machine who teleports all over the place. The choice is very much yours, but if you want to play objective NG, I'd just say you'd probably get better use out of any other shotgun than the Widowmaker. Though the Widowmaker is best for battle NGs, I personally play a little bit of both when using it. Just take some time before getting aggressive with your Widowmaker to set up a sentry and dispenser for your team. It is also very good to have a teleporter up, but if you're engineering with Eureka Effect, it might not be the best choice. After you completed all your teamwork chores, leave your buildings to your team to handle and play how you should with the Widowmaker, utilizing the gun's mechanic on having an endless clip as long as you deal 30 damage or more per hit. Just please remember that damage falloff is a factor to your DPS when using shotguns in general, and you often can't afford to be afraid to overextend it to enemies that are far away, as being up close to them with the Widowmaker is how you're supposed to get kills with it. And to all you medic mains watching, please heal the engineer who has unlimited shots and an endless damage flow. That is the NG life though. You are a support character, so you're neglected by your team. So, go out there and catch that medic's attention with your endless clip and kill streak, and tune in next time on Engineer's Assets, where I cover quite possibly the worst shotgun to grace Engineer's arsenal. So, with that being said, I hope this video will prove useful to you next time you're out there with the Widowmaker, and I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time I upload, see you all later, and have a fantastic rest of your day.